Start streaming. Let's see right here. That'll be one. Make sure. Are we live? All right, all right. So today it is Saturday, and we got Jesse and David coming through. Let me do one more for just to be safe. All right, all right. So we're a little bit behind right now, and we are live.
This call is now being
Global
recorded.
Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
Cinco. Can you guys hear me?
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello, hello.
What's up, my boy?
What up, David? How's it going?
Hey, it's going. I'll tell you that. It's going for sure. Yeah. What's up, James?
Hey, what's up, Jesse? Hey, so I want to go ahead and welcome Jesse and David coming in directly from Centinela State Prison, level 3 yard. Level 3, yeah, I think I got it all. Coming in from the Valle Imperial, live and
Three-way
direct.
llamada.
Damn, we already got hit with the three-way llamada. Damn, they're on it today.
Yeah. I don't know what that was, but it's good, though. Don't worry about that.
Hey, this is not a level 3 yard. This is a non-designated facility now.
Yeah,
Also-
non-designated facility, but it's... Go ahead.
Well, so okay, so now when it goes to non-designated, they remove the level.
Nah, it's still a level 3. You're talking shit.
Hey, even I didn't know shit. I was like, I was looking at Jesse like, I was holding the mic so you couldn't hear me, and I was like, do they, Jesse?
Yeah.
Do they?
What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do?
What are they going to do to us, son?
Oh man, you got me. You got me on that one.
Scared. Yeah, it got me shit. Hey, his shit's fluid, so you got to be on it.
It'll basically be that. This yard is basically a level 2 down here. I mean, there's no program, but like a level 2. But
Yeah. All right, all right. So I just want to double check and make sure the audience could hear me and they could also hear their audio. Also, if somebody could give me a thumbs up, if you guys could hear all of us, or a thumbs down if you could only hear me.
All right, hey, good looking audience. Like honestly, we're gonna need you to have our backs because apparently this James character, the Wicked Witch of the West, he don't really got it all together up there. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying much. I'm not insulting the guy, but it's all about audience support. Now I'm just messing with you. Anyway, James, don't get all mad right now. Felipe right now, he's pissed at me, and I can't handle it from you either.
So we did get confirmation from Maribel Vasquez that they can't hear us, and we got another confirmation from unknown Jake. And so I highly appreciate you guys letting us know that you guys could hear all three of us.
Hey, Maribel Vasquez, gracias. Unknown Jake, gracias.
Maribel Vasquez.
And earlier on, we had Desert Queen, or better known as Thumper. She was waiting for us on YouTube, but she's I'm not sure if she's currently on. But if she is, shout out to her. I did my first interview yesterday from incarcerated woman from Chowchilla yesterday. So shout out to her and shout out to Janet, for coming on and sharing her journey with us.
What Janet? What Janet? Valdez?
No, Janet Garcia.
Oh, I was like, what the?
He knows several Janets apparently.
Yeah.
Okay,
The other
okay.
Janet, Jesse. The only other Janet that you don't know in the world.
Yeah. Oh, and Thumper hooked you up with her?
Yeah. So I think they know each other from the street, and then they also spent some time together up in prison. And she had mentioned I don't know if you recall, but we were talking about women's prison, and maybe some of the things that were happening back there. And she chimed in on the chat, and she had mentioned that she knew somebody there a few months back. So we've been texting back and forth, so we were finally able to make it happen yesterday. So she went part of her journey yesterday, and we're gonna go ahead and continue through this week coming up, and get into some of the some more topics that that I'm interested in talking about, in women's prisons right now.
How'd it go? Behind the lifer?
No, she's well, actually, her case was kind of interesting. So, she got picked up for a homicide, but she said she wasn't present. There was three people there was three people involved, and she ended up, I think she spent like 2 or 3 years in county jail fighting the case. Finally, she ended up taking a deal for 15 to life, and then a year after she took that deal, they recalled her back to court because I guess the way they sentenced her was incorrect. So they resentenced her to 14 years. 14 years. So she should be getting out in about 3 years, I think. I think she's been done about 7 so far.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Man, like a bandit. What prison is she in?
She's in Chowchilla. And you know what? And oddly enough, her 2 co-defendants, they beat the case.
I'm surprised they left her in there if that happened, because I know somebody else that happened to.
Yep.
And his co-defendant beat the case, and he went back, and but he was charged as an accessory, but he got out.
You know, well, yeah, they said that she was driving the car, but then she said that the DAs were telling her that they knew that she wasn't involved, that she wasn't even there, but since she didn't want to tell, and she didn't want to take the stand, they ended up letting the sentence. They let it stand.
What county was it?
Riverside. You already know how they get down in Riverside.
Yep, they ain't playing.
And I think that's my issue with DAs. Honestly, it's not. I just don't. I think there's a lot of corruption that goes on in that whole process. And it's just a matter of, look, if you know somebody wasn't there, then why are you charging them?
No.
Like, simple as that. Why are you charging them? If you charge somebody for a crime that you know they didn't commit, then you're one of the worst put-in scum of society as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but you know how the DA plays it a lot of times. It's win or lose.
But that's what it's all become. It's
Yeah.
all become win or lose. That's their whole get down. Like, look, I can convict you. I'm pretty sure you weren't there, but I got enough to say that you were.
Yep, and that's all that matters. I'm going to put it down in the statistics. Some district attorneys, they're out, trying to do good. I'm sure there's a lot of them, you know what I mean? But also there's a lot of them that it's a game.
And I think that's the hardest thing for me, is not trying to group them all into one thing,
Right.
But I'm like that with everybody, where I'm like, you know what, this dude, I've seen these dudes do some scumbag shit, but is it fair for me to say that they're all like that? Because you and I both know they're not. I had a lot of issues with, there's corruption in here and stuff like that, and it happens. But I think I'm more hesitant because you don't know who's who. And that comes from the same way that they look at us. They're like, look.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
You look like a good dude. It looks like you're getting everything that you're handling your business. You're going to school. You're doing what you got to do. But that just means that you're smart. We ain't caught you yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They take that mindset.
Yeah, and they take that mindset, and it's like some of them tell me some shit sometimes. They say, they'll like, not here, but in Calipat, they would make like a little comment here and there, and I'd be like, hey, what do you mean by that? And I have to tell them, like, if you took just a moment, it ain't gonna take long to just go into another computer and really look at my file, you could see that I clearly had no ability to restrain myself. When I was living a negative lifestyle, I was all fucking in. I tried to do the, just do a little bit here and there, moderation. My mind don't work like, my mind don't work like that. My mind is, if I'm going to do a little, I'm going to do a lot.
Hedonist. We're hedonists.
Hedonist. Jesse and I were talking about that today. It's just like, look, we can't dabble.
Yeah, there is no moderation. It's all out. It's all or nothing. I say it all the time to these dudes right here in recovery. You know what I mean? Let me see how you are in your recovery, and it'll let me know what kind of gangster you were. If you a half-stepping recovery cat, you a half-stepping gangster.
Simple as that. Yep, that's what it is. What are you doing? Yeah, that'll show me everything I need to know about you.
Yep. And it shows, you know, because you just redirect that energy into something pro-social and positive. So if you don't got no energy, you don't stand for anything, then, you know, that just kind of like, it just goes to show that that's the kind of person, you know, that you were when you were doing that other stuff. As warped as the ideology was and as distorted as our perspectives were, you know, a lot of us believed in what we were doing. We stood for what we believed in, you know. And so, and when you see guys here that are all wishy-washy and flim-flam and they don't really stand for anything, they're just along for the ride, you know, I tell them all the time, like, man, that's I know what kind of gangster you were. You were just one of them dudes that was along for the ride, and as soon as the going got tough,
You left.
yeah, you made a run for it, you know, because you ain't got no sand in your boots.
Yeah.
But
That's what
yeah.
it is.
Anyways, yeah, so that's cool though. That's cool, James, that you finally was able to get a female's perspective on there. That's awesome.
A big shout out to Thumper.
Yeah,
making
big
that
shout out
happen.
for making it happen, for putting her contribution into a collect call. You know what I mean? And
cool.
and that's awesome. You know.
Yeah, she's a part of the family now.
Yep.
You know, part of our collect call family.
Hey, if you talk to that Heina again, find out if Crazy's there from Orange County.
Okay.
Janet Ortiz.
I'll
Still there
ask
with
her.
You know, because she was up there for years.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'll make sure I'll
Yeah.
go ahead and ask her.
That's why I thought off the top when you said Janet, because there's two homegirls, Janet, that were with the shit for sure, and they both, one of them's Raton's sister.
Oh yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking
I
about.
think it's not theirs.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And they both got a bunch of time. Actually, Janet actually killed her primo for molesting her daughter. That's crazy.
Yep.
And her and her dude ended up snitching on her, and it just went all weird. You know what I mean? But she ended up taking a deal. I told her too. She was gonna go to trial, and I told her, look, man, take the deal, take the 20 years. I understand, you know what I mean, but understand this is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you know, your reasoning, I get it, but you gotta understand if you play games with these people, you're gonna be in here for the rest of your life.
Hey, shoot, I was thinking right now, I was like, man, I bet she got some crazy stories, because I know some crazy-ass girls, man, that were doing time up there.
Oh, man, when I used to have a phone, I used to talk to her.
Yeah, I was thinking about Demon right now, and I was like, Demon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I bet you she got the crazy Demon story, you know? All the girls from that freaking county got one. This chick right here, James can tell you this, man. She's a looker, but she's insane.
She's a freaking whack job.
Yeah, she's fucking nuts.
Insane.
Yeah, and I actually know her. From the streets. I know her from the streets. And the funny part is that, okay, so I have a homegirl that was spending a lot of time up in Chowchilla. She's been there a bunch of times. She's still, I think she's up there right now, or in the county fighting life or something. But so she tells me, hey, I want you to meet my homegirl. You know, my homegirls, because I used to crazy motherfucker too at that time. You know, she's like, well, I want you to meet my homegirl. You guys are a lot alike. And when I met her, I was like, we're nothing alike. This chick is fucking a whack job. She is so weird, you know.
Yeah.
And so anyway, she was hella cool. But when she came to the county, I was in there fighting my case, and she was in the hole, you know. They had her isolated in ADSIC. And
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I would talk to her sometimes, like if I seen her in court and shit. But one time I was on the van or on the bus. Yep, you got that shit. Hey, I was on the bus, right? Like the same bus that I seen Jessie on when I was there. And she's in the cage, and she's just chilling. She's talking cool, but I don't realize that she's not really saying much towards the end of the bus ride, because that's when you're kind of tired. You know, you're already getting to where you got to go. You're ready to get to a county jail to get on another bus. You know, I was going back to Southwest from Indio, and I think she was going. I think we were going to Indio from court, and they picked her up in Riverside, or I don't know, something like that. But anyway, we're getting off the bus, and I'm like, hey, Demon, I said, you take care of yourself. And she's like, oh, you know, she says, like, you can tell. I'm like, I could not understand what she said, you know. And she's like, where are you too, you know. And then so they take her out of the cage. She turns around to some other girl that was in another cage, and she spit on her like I've never seen someone get spit on so crazy. Like, this shit was, hey, I'm telling you, like, she had so much spit saved in her mouth that shit was like she took a drink of water and just fucking drenched the girl, right? And the girl was like, it got her right in the face, you know? And I was like, oh, that sucks, you know? Because they're not going to give her new clothes in the right there in court, you know? She's
Yeah.
gonna just walk around with spit on her.
Oh, so they just you guys had just got to court.
Huh?
You guys had just got to court from county.
Yeah, that's what it was. We were pulling up to court.
Oh, okay, okay.
We were pulling up to like the Indio jail or something, and yeah, she got out. They took the girls out first, and they started with her, and that shit was all bad. I was like, what the fuck? I wonder what
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
she probably did nothing. Probably said something, but them girls are vicious, man.
I
Hey,
can imagine.
that was the 60 seconds.
Yeah. Hey. So
Yeah, they're vicious.
just wanted to give you guys a heads up. We got Chubby Jessica in here, and that's her name. That's her handle. So don't get the pitchforks and the Molotov cocktails ready for me. I'm just calling it how is labeled.
Oh yeah, you gotta
Chubby
be.
Jessica, we send our love to
Yep,
Chubby Jessica.
yep.
But you know you got a lot of people out there that want to protect the chubby girls.
Yeah, like wait a minute, who you calling chubby?
Yeah, who you calling chubby? I'm pleasantly plump.
Yeah, pleasantly plump.
Yeah.
And we also
Right.
got Ignacio Dominguez coming in from Wasco. Saludos from Wasco.
Hey, saludos, Ignacio. They probably call him Nacho.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna
Call back.
I'll give you a call back right now.
All right, cool, for sure. All right. So right now we are going to be waiting for them to call back. Daddy _ chill 87 _ free the brother. Hey, I'll let them know right now when they call back. And so these are live phone calls from Centinela State Prison. We got Jesse and David. For those of you that are not familiar with them, if you go check out our YouTube channel at Collect Call From, go to playlist and go under just look up Jesse and David, and you go ahead. You could go ahead and hear their journey from the earliest memory as a child to where they're at now. And there they are. The phone is ringing.
This call is now
Esta
being
es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
James.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hey,
And
so you mentioned Ignacio from Delano, right up there.
yeah.
You know, I was thinking right now, I was like, man, there's a lot of shit going on in Delano right now.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
like law enforcement central right now. That's like the fugitive up there.
Hey, so
I want every doghouse, outhouse.
So there's a lot of prisons
Yeah.
up there, right? What is Delano, Wasco? Is Delano also Kern Valley, or how many prisons is there in that area?
No, there's two of them.
Oh, two.
So
Okay.
there's two Delanos. Old Delano is called North Kern State Prison, and New Delano is called Kern Valley State Prison. And I know you know the whole. I mean, we got Corcoran up there. You got Pleasant Valley up there. You got Wasco, Avenal, yeah.
Both the Corcoran.
Yeah, SADF, Old Corcoran, New Corcoran.
Yep.
You know, that's like prison central right there. Central California is prison
You
central.
got Salinas Valley, Soledad,
Yeah.
DSP. What else you got in the Central Valley?
Out of all those prisons up there, I've been to North Kern State Prison. I've been to Wasco State Prison. I've been to Tehachapi is considered Kern, huh? Yeah, I've been to Tehachapi a couple times. I've been in the shoe in Tehachapi. I've been to both Corcorans. I've been to New Corcoran. I've been to Old Corcoran. I've been to Soledad. Like, I've been all over the place.
Damn.
You know? Yeah. And I've been to all them prisons, man. And that's just the ones that are right there in that spot. I'm very familiar with Central California. But I was thinking about
up there are way better than down here.
Yeah, it's just different, you know. It's a different environment. I guess I don't know why they would be any different anywhere else, but they are. You could just feel the vibe when you get there. It's just different, you know. It's a lot of shit that happens up there, but that's just prison. Jesse and I were talking about consistency the other day, and those prisons are consistently a certain way. So we just adapt, we evolve, and I don't even notice. They talk about, like, people tell me, oh, you were in Tehachapi, you were here, you were there, and I'll be like, yeah. They're like, man, was it crazy up there? I said, well, fuck, I mean, I was home. It didn't feel any, I caused a lot of problems in the yard. I was a part of it. I made the yard crazy. So yeah, if you were anywhere near me, you probably had some fear. But that's what it was, man. It's a dangerous place. Everybody's trying to outdo each other. But those yards that have programs up there, they have a lot of privileges that we don't really get here. That's what Jesse meant.
Hey, you know what? Right now that you mentioned privileges, funny that you mentioned that word because yesterday, when I was having that conversation with Janet, she was actually on the yard, and I was like, "What? They allow you guys to take your tablets out in the yard?" She was like, "Yeah, we get way more privileges than the men." I was like, "That's interesting." I was like, "Man,
Shit, in Ironwood, you can take your tablet to the yard.
Yep, so I heard. Ironwood, you can have your tablet out there.
Yep.
Oh,
Sat
okay,
F, Ironwood.
yeah."
Some of the prisons, like several of the prisons, you can take your tablet to the yard. Any of the level 2s.
That's what I don't understand. It's like, look, if you're in the same level prison, then you should be able to have the same privileges as any other prison.
The rules should be blanket.
They should be blanket. Like, if you're allowed to do this in one place, what's the difference?
Yeah.
The
It
people
can't
are
be
the
any
same.
more of a security threat here than it is there.
Yeah, the prison's the same. Like right here, we can't go to yard. They run it like a level 4, which is all right for me because, I grew up on level 4. But
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I feel bad for guys that are coming to this prison from better places like that because they're like, man, this place is fucked up, man. They split the tier, Only one tier can be out on the yard at a time. That's level 4 shit. But
That's interesting.
supposedly they're trying to change that. Yeah, and then they said that this is going to be a non-designated program facility. That's next month. They're supposed to change the designation. And I don't understand. Like, they're not giving us shit. We got nothing coming. The same shit they're doing right now is nothing coming. We got San Diego State, but without San Diego State and Imperial Valley College, this prison would be fucking on the chopping block. So realistically, those programs help keep them employed.
Yeah, we're keeping them employed.
Yep. Jesse saw a headphone thing fell out. Yep. Yeah, we're keeping them employed by having these prisons, and we having these programs here. But as far as that, like, we should have those yards that are non-designated. They got badass folks. They got the dog program, like all the shit that the Menendez brothers are getting over there in Donovan.
Yeah.
That's from a non-designated yard. It's hard to get in college right here because there's not a lot of spots. The college is extremely limited. Jesse and I, we hold. Go ahead.
How was it that you were able to get in? Because you haven't been there that long, right? You've been there maybe a year and a half, or going on to 2.
It's because they fucked up in Calipat. That's what happened.
Oh,
they knew
okay.
They made a mistake.
So they
They
helped
made
you
a
out.
mistake and they sent me here to. Yeah, they did. They tried to clean it up by putting me back because in Calipatria,
Yeah.
they have the same colleges. They don't have San Diego State though, but they have Imperial Valley College.
Yeah.
And they have it's another college for correspondence called Coastline. We can't get a lot of we could get some of our general education classes there, but we can't finish the Coastline. We have to be in person with the professor. So it's kind of like online college.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that, but they transferred me over here because they knew that they had taken me out of IVC when they took me to the hole, and when everything got cleared and they found that it was bogus, they tried to clean it up by giving me a behavioral override because I was still level 4 when I got here. I've only been level 3 since May. Last May I became level 3 barely. So if you're clean for a year and you're positively programming, they'll let you come. They'll drop you down 1 level on a behavioral override. But if you get a 115, they'll send you back to level 4. Now me, because of my history, they didn't want me on a level 3 yard. They told me because of shit that I did in the past that I have to remain in a higher security level until I get reduced naturally, until I become level 3, then they'll transfer me. But other than that, they're not going to reduce my custody level. So all of a sudden, that's not an issue, where they're like, we're going to go take you there. So when I got here, I was priority. As soon as that opening came, they had to put me in.
So that worked out in your favor then.
Yeah, and I got up until that. Yeah, it worked out. It worked out in my favor, but I wasn't ready to leave there yet because that made me. That put me behind. That put me behind a little bit because of 5 classes I had to drop. Now, I've made up all those classes, and I'm farther ahead where I should be done. Jesse and I, we should graduate early next year. We should be graduating. So, 2025, yeah, we should be graduating. So, I'm just upset about it because I should have been, right now I'm shuffling to finish all my classes by summer so that I can start working on my bachelor's degree by fall. So August, the end of August, usually fall semester starts. I want to be enrolled in San Diego State, or I'm going to have to wait for a whole other cohort, which is like, it could be a year or 2 years away. So we're really, we're getting on it, you know. But Jesse's the same way. We're on that shit. I finished up. Go ahead.
I got a comment on here for you guys from Joe Billings, and he writes, "Hang in there, brother. Keep
Esta
positive.
llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Keep positive and keep the faith."
From who?
From Joe Billings, coming in from Carson City.
That's cool.
Carson City, California, or Nevada?
Carson City, California. Or Carson, California.
Yeah. I was like, the city of Carson?
Yeah,
Carson.
the harbor area.
You mean like, yeah, you could have just said Carson. Like,
Yeah.
we got,
Well, I was like, Carson City, that's
Yeah.
Nevada.
Yeah.
we
Good
apologize
catch.
for our friend here. Is that Jolene, like the song from Dolly Parton?
Joe Joe Billings.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey,
you know what?
You got that bass. Go ahead.
I got that news station base.
You got that that podcaster voice.
Oh,
Yeah. So some of the words are a little tight, but you do all right though. You do all right.
it's not me, it's the microphone. But let me see. Daniel Fine wrote, "Keep up the good work." And then, you know, I wanted to ask you guys about that escape up in Kern County.
Why? Who you working for?
Hey, hold on. I just need you to talk into his microphone
Yeah.
and make
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Read my rights first, please. Mirandize me. Yeah.
So let me ask you guys. So I mean, this guy, he's out of Linwood. He's been down, I think, if I remember correctly, since 2018. We just had Marlene show up, and
What's up?
he's been down since 2018. He's been down about 5 years now, and
Yep.
you know, what's your thought on somebody being able to escape from court?
That man is running for his life. Let me tell you this. And everybody that crosses his path is in danger. How simple is that? Him escaping from court, like, that's a breakdown. Whatever they did, they got loose. The prison, like the court process that we've gone through is pretty tight. I've never seen, like, you know, where even like daydreaming, like, man, you know, I could have done it there, I could have done it this way. There's still like reasonable, like, where it's just like, oh, that's the way that, you know, that's the way you do it. You know, hell no, that fool somehow got away.
He had a plan.
Yeah.
Court right there, though, in Delano, that's got just a little small gate.
Yeah, that is right. That's correct. It's like next to like some businesses. I think there's like the court and there's a court, and then there's a business right next to that place, and then it's like a half brick wall, and then it has like a gate. You know, like those pipes that come up or that fold up, I think, forward, and then where the van comes in, it's a full gate.
Yeah, the thing is, he found a way. He got out. He's gone, and this is why, like, because I heard one of the news stories, and they said, well, they're not releasing no information. Well, no shit. For one, if they have any information, they're sure as hell not going to release information because that fool's probably got some people tied up in the house watching the news. Yep. You know, he's probably somewhere. Yeah, that's what that is. That's what that is right there.
Marlene wrote that guy he was on B Yard. She has a friend that's in the same prison.
B-Yard's main line?
Kern Valley, yep.
Oh yeah, so that's a madman. That's a straight madman on the loose. And that fool, it does not have anything to lose. Like, people that don't, okay, so
Did he go to court from Kern Valley or
He
from,
had to have gone on an in-house.
or
Probably
New
whacked.
Delano?
Yeah, he did.
He said Kern Valley. He probably whacked somebody. He probably whacked the shit out of somebody in Kern Valley. He probably even killed somebody.
No.
Was going to court because they're picking up a case like dumbasses on somebody that already has probably fucking LWOP or some crazy life sentence. You know, wasting everybody's money.
Hey, to be
this is
to
what
be honest
happens.
with you guys, I think I wouldn't be surprised if he would have had a Pruno. They picked up a Pruno case on him out of Kern Valley.
Yeah, Kern picks up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got money to burn on cases over there in Kern.
There you go. Take this
Just like-
idiot for a freaking Pruno that already has life anyway. That don't give a shit. He's probably just gonna play the court system.
That's what that's like Riverside.
Yeah, Riverside. Dudes
Mhm.
that come down there, like when you go to court, when you already got life, you're basically just gonna cost a bunch of people money and just make a big spectacle of it as much as you can.
When I had all my in-house cases, after I got sentenced, my judge even told the district attorney, like, hey, what are we doing here? Because I had picked up, several in-house cases, and the judge was like, he told the judge tells the prosecutor, I don't know if you know this, but you work for the people, and I don't know if you know who the people are, but the people are the taxpayers. He goes, I just sentenced Mr. Nava to life without the possibility of parole plus 10 years. So in other words, he has to do his 10 years, and then he could start his never getting out of prison stand. And he told her, you need to go, you need to go talk to your supervisor and figure out what you guys are going to do. He goes, because Mr. Nava, like, this is a waste of the taxpayers' dollars and a waste of the court's time.
Mr. Nava clearly doesn't care.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. And then he tells,
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
because I told him I was going to go pro per, I was going to represent myself, and he tells me, look, Mr. Nava, I totally understand. You got nothing to lose. Like, you might as well, And so he turned, and the prosecutor tells him, well, I don't think Mr. Nava should be rewarded just because he was sentenced to life in prison. And when I got my case overturned, the first thing she said when we got back in front of that judge, and this is exactly why, because I was looking at another life sentence for aggravated mayhem. And so she was like, this is exactly why I wanted to give him another life sentence. We probably wouldn't be sitting here today and this and that. She was like, yeah, so it's pretty crazy.
Hey, the phone's gonna cut off right now. We'll give
All
you
right.
a call back right now. I got some more stuff to say too.
Okay, for sure.
This is actually, yeah.
All right.
I'll call you back right now.
All right, cool. All right. So for those of you that are new here, man, I'm sounding like a broken record over here. But go ahead and check out our YouTube channel at Collect Call From, and go to playlist. Check out Jesse and David. They are cellies, and funny enough, they know each other from the streets. They met back in juvenile hall back in the 90s, and now they're in prison now, as cellies. So I think these are the only individuals that I know that are celled up together and that know each other from the street. And there it is. The prison phone is ringing. Let me go and plug this in, and we'll go ahead and continue.
This call is now
Esta
being
es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
No. Yeah. So the thing with this topic, right, is look, I would never leave a place like this. Like, I just wouldn't. It just, to me, when I first committed, I'm here for 187, So when I first committed that crime, I went to my house one day, and I kind of already expected that I was going to be arrested or charged for that. So things had already transpired, So I was kind of on the lookout, and I happened to leave my pad that day. I left my house, and I took off, and I went to go handle some business. And when I came back to the house, when I first left the house, we got followed. Did I tell you that?
No.
Did I ever tell you
Not that I
about
recall.
Yes. All right. So I had somebody pick me up and give me a ride, right? And the crazy part is that I had heard that a witness got arrested already, the one who had seen the entire thing. So I had buried a burner, which is a firearm. I had buried it in the desert, and she had seen where I had buried it. So the crazy part is that I called somebody to come pick me up, and this person pulled out. When we pulled out, this was never, keep in mind, this main witness has already been in police custody for, man, like 15 hours. So I'm waiting for them to come in any time. And at that time, I'm just kicking it at the house. I'm thinking, well, it's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that time, I had the thought process like, well, this is the lifestyle I was living, and this is the reward for all my bad behavior. This is something that if they come and they snatch me up, I'm just going to be kicking at the pad. It's going to be what it is, and, you know, I'll deal with it then. But there was also another part of my mind that was telling me, like, you idiot, don't just give yourself up, you know? So I was thinking, you know what? This girl's busted. They're probably going to come right now. I need to go grab that burner, you know? So I had I had this person come pick me up, and we took off. And when I pulled out of my apartment, they were already watching my apartment. And a car pulled up on me right away. Well, I was in the drug game for a long time, criminal stuff. You know, I had been followed before. You know, not like paranoid followed. Like, I know when I'm being followed. You know
I always
yeah.
feel like somebody's watching me.
I had been followed 1,000 times, James, 1,000 times, and at least 2 of those times were real. So, at least 2 or 3. So, I ended up, you know, I was like an expert at being followed by that point because I
think it's pretty safe to say that at least 2 or 3, because at least 2 or 3 of those times you end up in the back of a cop car.
Yeah, I was arrested. Yeah, I've been to prison. I've been to prison several times, and they were following me because they pulled me over and got me. So, anyway, I pull out of my apartment and I turn left, right, and out of nowhere, headlights come on. They're right behind me. So I'm like, fuck. And I'm actually driving right down the street towards the sheriff's department. So I tell the driver, I wasn't going to the sheriff's department, but I was going in that direction. So I tell my driver, I'm like,
I've been going to the sheriff's department.
Yeah, should have just pulled right in.
Yeah, save them some trouble.
So I tell the driver, hey, turn left right here. And the driver don't realize any of this is going on. You know, I heard the car start behind me. I didn't hear that start, but I was on that shit, you know, like I seen it, I was like, okay, that's weird. That came out of nowhere. Where the fuck did that come from? So I tell the driver, hey, turn left right here. Because the driver don't know where we're going. So the driver turns left. We get to this main street, and I tell the driver, hey, hang a right here. So the car hits the left and hits the right with me. So I'm like, all right. I told the driver, hey, we're going to get pulled over right now. And whatever happens, the driver don't know what's going on. So, you know, I'm in the back seat. And I tell the driver, hey, I'm wanted right now. And the driver's like, what do you mean you're wanted? I said, look, we're probably going to get pulled over. I feel like we got followed out of the apartment. And just whatever it is, like, I'll let them know you don't know nothing. You know, I had you going and shit.
I'll let them know that you know nothing about the dead body in the trunk.
Yeah. Well, this person was going to get pulled over with the suspected killer in the car. You know, so I owe that person an apology. I put this person in a horrible spot. I knew what I had done. I knew what I was wanted for. I knew that the witness had gone in, and I still called this person and put them in harm's way because that's the kind of selfish individual I was, and I did it without thinking twice. You know, and I valued this person so much, I actually kicked this person down with a little bit of dope for doing it. Like, hey, I'm going to put you in a horrible spot, but here you go. Get high.
Hey, David,
shit.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
But so, you know, if you knew you were wanted, how come you just didn't, you know, how come you didn't just get out of Dodge? How come you didn't cross like to Mexico? It's right down the street, or you know, fly somewhere.
You heard about his last story in Mexico.
That's why I want to know.
Okay, so this is it, and I'm getting to that.
Yeah,
I'm going to get to all that.
Okay.
Because it's not that easy.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. This ain't the Fast and the Furious where all of a sudden you roll a
We're in
freaking
Brazil taking over the empire.
Yeah, you roll a freaking you roll a fuel truck and you wiggle your nose and you're in freaking Rio de Janeiro, you know? Yeah. To kick it back under that freaking giant tree. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you got Lefty right there kicking back, you know, in a bikini, you know, it don't work like that. Yeah. You make it down there with your girl, she's gonna be whooped, she's gonna be pissed, she's gonna be paranoid. You know what I'm saying? It don't work like that. It's not that. That's not the real world. The real world is things kind of have to unfold because at the end of the day, you're still trying to get away with it. You're not. I was thinking in my head because I didn't take responsibility at that time for what I did. What you're hearing now is me taking responsibility for my actions. Back then, I was the victim in all this. That's how I looked at it. I looked at it like, well, these people made me do it. These people put me in this situation. Them. They shouldn't have done this. They shouldn't. No, I shouldn't have never been living the life that I was living to begin with. I should have never been carrying guns. I should have never been gangbanging. I should have never been putting myself in dangerous situations and other people as well. And guess what? Somebody died and I'm responsible for that.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
And I know all that, but unfortunately I was too ignorant to really realize that at that time. So I end up driving, right? This car's hanging with me. It doesn't flip the lights on. The car actually turned back in the direction towards the sheriff's department. I don't know if they didn't know that it was me. I don't know how they could have missed it. I wasn't like ducking behind cars to get into that person's car. I walked right out of the apartment, just like the arrogant bastard I was. Got in the car, took off.
They finally figured out we'll pick them up at the AM PM down the street.
Well, the thing is I did pull off at the AM PM down the street. But it was actually because we know the thinking. When you play cat and mouse with somebody for a long time, you're gonna understand the way that they think too, just like they understand the way we think.
Mm-hmm.
We get it. So I ended up driving, and the funny part is I pulled off to a gas station because now I'm suspicious. Well, why did these fools just let me go? They had me dead bang. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where if they do something like that, it's because they're letting something unfold. And so I'm wondering, in 9 times out of 10, it's because they want to maybe get me in a safer place.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that public safety and stuff
They
like
got to
that.
put a net on you to where they know you're not going to be able to run and get away, or you're not going to have anybody hurt in the vicinity.
Absolutely, and I was armed and dangerous. At that
Armed and dangerous.
At that time, I didn't have a burner on me, but I was on my way to go pick one up. And that was actually the murder, the weapon I used in the crime.
Little did you know they already had it in the car that they were following you in.
That's what I get to. That's where I get this so trip out. So I actually drive, and I pull off in this gas station. It was called On the Run.
On the Run?
On the Run. That's the name of the gas station.
What the?
And I was looking at it like, huh. So I'm waiting
for me.
I'm waiting at the gas station right there, and I tell the driver to kick it for a minute. The driver's already paranoid, but the power of the sack,
Power of the dog.
Yep. I was keeping the driver trapped with drugs. I told the driver, just kick it right here. Don't worry about it. I got you. I'm gonna hook you up. Don't trip. I was gonna leave with your wild. And a drug addict in the front seat doesn't have the power to pull away from the sack, and I knew that. That's another victim that was one of my victims. I knew that. I knew they weren't gonna go nowhere. I had only given them enough just to get a little taste. I wasn't going to give them nothing till I was done with them. That's the mentality, that selfish mentality. So we drive, and now I'm looking for a helicopter. I'm looking up, I'm looking around.
He done went all Henry Hill on us.
Well, I was thinking, if they're going to follow me, they'll at least put a bird up in the sky. Kind of keep me, to keep their eyes on me without tipping me off, just in case I got a weapon on me. Yeah. Remember, I had just shot somebody. They're not taking no chances with somebody like me. I have a history of violence. I have a history of gang involvement. They're going to make sure that they got me in a clean spot. So I gave them that clean spot, Jess. I told the driver to get out of the gas station and turn left, cross the railroad tracks, and I was on like Dillon Road. That's our outskirts right there. So I'm on Dillon Road out there, and I tell them to hang right, and I'm out there. I'm looking behind me. I don't see nothing. I told them to pull over to the side of the road, and I pulled over next to the desert where I thought it was at, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, man. So I told the driver, hey, do me a favor. Take me back to the pad. So we go back to my apartment, and they're already all through my apartment. I seen a forensic van in front of my apartment. I seen all kinds of undercover squad cars. And remember, I'm in the back seat. I'm in the back seat at the time. And so the driver, there's nobody in the front seat. So I tell the driver, hey, just keep going, and I ducked down in the back seat. So it didn't look like there was a seat pulled back or nothing like that, And the crazy part is the car that followed me out had to have seen me get in the back seat, right? So I go to another house right there. I go to a pad, which was somebody who used to push dope for me. So, once again, I'm using the sack. I pulled in, I'm a dope man. And I send this poor girl over to my apartment. I said, hey, go see what's happening.
Hey, go find out what them 40 cops are doing in my apartment.
Yeah, she didn't make it far, man. She got fucking hemmed up pretty good. Yeah, they hemmed her up, and then
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I
Hey,
went
tell
to
me why the detectives are throwing a rave in my apartment.
Yep. I went to another spot, and I kind of watched the whole thing happen. I was like, hey, just go there and see, like, what's going on. And I went to another spot, and I parked right there. And the crazy part is I'm right there.
I'm watching them watch me.
I was 20 feet away. I was watching the whole thing 20 feet away. Saw the poor girl get hemmed up. She said she was going to another neighbor's apartment that wasn't there. We had the whole story worked out, and they let her go. But when she walked away, I was looking at her face, and I still think about it, like, damn, like, she had a fucked up look on her face. Like, what you just, like, how dare you, So I took off, went to another pad, and they dropped me off at somebody's house that they didn't really know that I knew. So I'm kicking back, and what do I do?
Pack a bow.
And that's the thing. Yeah, for sure. But the fact of the matter is, what do you do? The dude that just took off from the county, what do you do? Okay, so now my phone, obviously I'm not using my phone no more. I took the battery out. Took the battery out of my phone. So now I don't got a phone. Now I'm thinking, well, I don't know how long, if they've been working on this long. Do they got my mom hemmed up? They tore through my mom's company, her business. They tore the door down and went in there looking for me because they had information that I stayed there sometimes.
Got it.
Yeah, they went there. They went to all kinds of houses. They're going everywhere. So who do you call with that situation? I was in the same situation as this dude that's on the run right now. I know what that's like. I had nothing to lose. Then I turn on the TV and I'm on every channel. I'm on the news channels. I'm on the freaking commercials. They blasted my face. They're saying that my former gang involvement, that's all over the news. It's everywhere. So now the public is looking for me. Law enforcement's looking for me. They said this freaking gang killer is on the loose in your neighborhood. So this guy, at least I was at a safe place momentarily. What do you think that guy did, Jess?
I'm thinking he probably got himself some hostages. Nah, I think he got.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
He had somebody there with him. He didn't do that just. It wasn't a spur of the moment thing. He prepared it for his next court date. He had somebody there waiting, and he's probably on his way to Mexico right now. He's been gone for what, 4 days now? 5 days? How long has it been?
About 5 days, I say, about
days.
now.
Oh yeah.
Call you back right now, James.
All right, cool, for sure. So hey, thank you, highly appreciate the likes. And Luke, yeah, man, let me see. Luke writes, my uncle used to live in Carolina, where you be staying. It changed over the years, much more expensive and gentrified. Yeah, it is. So recently, we were out in Puerto Rico, and I did some video visits with the fellas. And whenever I go on vacation on somewhere, I try to do that, try to share that my experience, with them. I figured, if I was incarcerated and if I was in the same situation as them, then I would want to see, some of the outside world, besides, the colors and sounds that you see in while you're in prison. And they are calling back.
Esta es
This
Global
call is now
Telling.
being recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? It's like, all right, so why didn't you run to Mexico? All right, well, how the hell am I going to get to Mexico? Because I don't trust nobody. I don't have a ride at that time. The people who were there for me, I love my family. I mean, I might have done wrong by them by living the lifestyle I live, but I wouldn't have put my family in the same situation that I put these people in, these other people. As cold as it is to say, I didn't want my mom in the car with a suspected killer. I didn't want her to get pulled over because that's my mom right there. My mom would do anything for me, and I know that, which means that I have a responsibility. I'm not going to put her in that fucked up situation. I wasn't going to put my brother in that situation. I wasn't going to put my sister. I wasn't going to put, my other brother. I wasn't going to do none of that. So they're out. Not, they're stressed out too. I got one of them burner phones. Call my mom's phone. Let her know I was okay. She's crying. She's like, my mom always. She chose to look the other way with my gang involvement. I was obviously involved with organized crime. It was obvious. But my mom refused to see me in that light. She looked at it like, well, it's probably, there's some other reason, there's some other way, but when she's seeing it in black and white all over the news, this is what we know about your son. Your son is involved with organized crime. He has a record of it. We have that. He might have kept you from that. But it's real. This is really who he is. This is what he's capable of. So we don't think about those things, when we're living that lifestyle. And I know Jesse went through the same things with his mom and stuff like that, He hid that monster that was living inside of him.
I could do no wrong in my mama's eyes.
100%.
I mean, as far as she was concerned, it was everybody else's fault but mine. And I was like, you know what, Mom, you're right.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was the same way. Hey, there's always I would always leave a loophole.
Yeah.
Always leave a way,
It was always a friend. It was always.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
It's funny because like with Shane, with Shane, his mom blamed me for everything, and with me, my mom blamed him for everything. So it was just like, come on, I had to defend him.
Yeah.
So we just turned around. So neither one of us was in good standing with the other one's parents. So they definitely hated to see the other one around. But no, with my mom, and it's crazy. I think I told that story before that my mom, because I ended up shooting at somebody in front of my mom's house one time, and it was just some dumb shit that had happened. But anyway, and my mom came out and made a big old fine show because these fools came back later on and they ended up shooting up the pad next door, thinking that was the pad. They went to the wrong house, and my mom was like, man, my nephews and nieces and them, they sleep on the couch right there when they stay the night. And she's like, it could have been one of the kids. They could have got hurt. And she's absolutely right. Looking back at it now, that's crazy. But at the time, I'm just like, well, you're tripping,
Yeah.
And so, but and that kind of set her on this little path. Well, I end up shooting my niece's boyfriend, and her mom, my brother's ex-wife, called my mom, and they're like, Jesse shot Ralph, and boom, made a big old poncho, and I get home, my mom's flipping out.
Yep, for sure.
And I'm like, what? Come on. And the crazy thing is, my mom had actually brought me to go do shit to this fool because he put his hands on my knee. But her thing was, because that time when they shot at the house, she was like, I better never hear about this again. I better never hear about these kind of stuff again, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yeah, don't trip. And so when that happened, she was just like, she flipped out. And so she told me, she was like, if you ever shoot another man again, you're dead to me. You're dead to me. I didn't raise you like this. And, she's saying all these things, and I'm just like, all right, Mom, it's all good. Don't worry, I'm not shooting anybody. They're lying and this and that. And so she, when I got busted, she was the first one when I came from Arizona, because me and Shane got busted in Arizona.
Yep.
And so when I get over here, she tells, as soon as the very first visit I got, they pop me out, they take me to the visiting room, and I walk in, I look at my mom, and I remember she's looking at me, she got tears in her eyes, you can tell she's crushed, and I look at her, and I'm just kind of like, well, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing here, And she's like, what, I can't see my son? And I was just like, yeah, well, I didn't expect to see you because I never seen you like that. You were pretty intent about. And the crazy thing is, when the shooting happened with me and Shane, right there with TJ in the Popular Country Club, with that one, that's the one we left to Arizona for. I didn't even know I was wanted for this murder. But we took off. That time she blamed. She was like, "Well," I go, "You know how it is. You know what happened with Shane, and of course I had Shane to blame. Like I had to defend him. We were defending ourselves,
For sure.
And so she, for some reason, it was different. Like she didn't take it the same way. She's like, "Oh, okay," because as many people had kicked in the door, she understood. Like, okay, there was 6 of them and just us. Well, of course we had to defend ourselves, and so that's how she kind of looked at it. She didn't look at it like the way, like when it's just me and one other person, or like in front of that house that one time. So, anyways, when she comes to visit the room, she told me straight up, she starts crying. She says, "You know what, mijo?" She goes, "You might be able to kill a man," she says, "but you could never kill a mother's love." And she says, "I'm going to be here with you until you get out. I'm not going to leave you in here by yourself." And that's just the truth about it, And for years, like the first 2 years, I used to try to tell her, like, "Mom, you got to understand, like, I did this. I'm not getting out of prison. I'm never going home, And she's like, "Oh, you were a teenager. You were a kid." Like, she just couldn't wrap her head around.
Yep, that's what I was talking about. Like, there's always something, like, and I try to tell my mom, too, the same thing. Like, I did it. It might not have been the exact situation that they painted in trial because, they put extras on shit. But at the end of the day, when you break it all down, I was an active gang member with a history of involvement with organized crime, and I did commit a 187 because that's the kind of person that I was. I was 100% capable of doing something like that. And I would have done more. I would have done it again.
Yep.
I needed to be taken off the streets because I was a danger to the community.
Yep.
Things have changed. I'm not the same person that I was then, but absolutely that monster that was my mom's son was out there doing those things.
And it's funny that you say that though. Like we're sitting here literally talking about like out there shooting, like living the life like we're in the Wild West. Like the 1800s. Guns blazing, wilding out. Like that's the kind of life we're living, and that's normal. You go to the city, you go to LA, you go to different places. That's a daily thing. It's just regular, and we've generalized that kind of behavior.
Even in Carson.
Yeah, even in Carson City.
Hey, well, look at Derrick Snowden. He's from Carson too, so it's stuff be going down too out there.
You're talking about Innocent Derrick?
Yeah, Innocent Derrick. Yep. It goes down there too.
Yep.
No, it does because I got a homie from Catskill. That's Carson, right?
Yeah.
Yep. No, there's some knuckleheads from Carson.
Yeah, but the thing about it is like. We see people in here like this just speaks to the evolution of where we're at.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I see things in here and I hear things in here and we hear about things that are happening on these other yards still. And my first thought is like, yeah, that's crazy. Like man, why? How could they do that? Or why are they doing that? Like that's my thought.
Yeah.
Like that's my sentiment. But then right now we're having this conversation, like I'm looking back and thinking, like, man, that's exactly what we did for so long, and we thought about it, and it was nothing. We normalized it. The same way these guys run around here normalizing catting out on Spice and, just doing dumb shit.
Even the overdoses.
Yeah.
We get used to it. Like fools die here. Fools die here. I've seen dead people, and guess what?
I see dead people.
Yep, that's what it is. We look at it like, well, that's just a part of being in prison. Life in prison is life in prison for some people. They will die. And I just don't want it to be me. I'm currently a lifer. Jesse's currently a lifer. Yes, we're eligible for board, but the reality of the fact is that something could change and we could end up dying in prison. They can hold us until we die, till we drop in the yard.
So the thing is, my question is though, is like, how did we get to that place though? Where we were, that was normal, taking another human being's life, shooting people regularly, shooting at people regularly, carrying a gun. Like, how do you get to that place in your life? That's normal, and I look at it where, like as I was saying, where I'm at today, like I watch these true crime shows and all this stuff all the time, and I look at it and I'm like, man, that's a senseless murder. How could you do that? Like I'm thinking this to myself.
You looking in the mirror?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, well, what do you mean senseless? What murder has some sense?
Sense to it. There's sense. Oh, that was a sensible murder.
Yeah, that was a sensible murder. You know what, man? That was, like even a minute ago when I was talking about like my homegirl Crazy, the one I was telling you, like my first thought originally was like, well, shit, she did what she had to do. You know what I mean? Like, because she killed her primo for molesting her kid. And everybody hates a child molester. That's just what it boils down to. That's even in society. But again, that didn't give her a right to go take another person's life.
Because
even though she was coming from a very hurt place, and at that point when she did it, I totally agreed with it.
It's because that thought process, though, the thought process that we had removed us from societal norms.
Yeah.
It's not normal in society to do that. When somebody is a victim of sexual assault, sexual abuse, guess what? Their family calls the police.
Yeah.
There's people in place to deal with people like that, and it doesn't call for a vigilante bullet. It doesn't call that way. If you take the law to your own hands, you know that term.
Yeah.
And guess what? You're going to become a target for the law as well, because they have a way of doing things. If not, it's going to just be chaos. I like to say in my past life, I must have been hit by a primered Regal. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That had Art LeBeau's playing or something, on the radio. Because I'm Your Puppet was on, and that's what it was, And because I was drawn to that lifestyle. I know that I had issues with power and control, growing up in a house where abuse was happening, and so, domestic violence and whatnot. So I had issues. I needed safety, and I looked for safety in gangs. They were what was there. They were the avenue, and I went that route. My siblings didn't go that route. We get asked in here sometimes, well, why did your siblings go a different route than you? Well, my siblings got some scuff marks on them too. They didn't make it without any trauma, but they didn't join the gang lifestyle. They didn't deal with it the way that I dealt with it. They were willing to let it go, and I wasn't. I wanted to hang on to that hate. I wanted to feel safe. I didn't trust nobody. I wanted to isolate myself. I wanted to give myself to people that looked at me as something valuable, even if it was to use me. I didn't feel that value at home. And that's unfortunate. I'm glad I don't want to say I'm glad, but what if it was some crazy other shit, What if there was some other, like, crazy crew, like I end up one of the Manson pupils.
Yeah.
Like, dude, all the Manson, the Manson crew, they're all chicks, and then there's Dave.
And you would be the only Mexican.
Yeah, there's a bunch of white chicks, and there's just a Mexican dude that's mixed, sitting there, and he's doing all the same shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like, hey, who's that? Who's that little dark? Who's that little chocolate drop right there in the corner? Yeah, who's that refried bean over there in the corner?
Yeah, like this guy's calling himself Brown Passion.
Yeah, what's Brown Passion doing out here?
Hey, now that you bring up Brown Passion, somebody I recently put up a video. I clipped that video, and somebody they dropped another name on there. Somebody that went by the name of Tadao. Does that ring a bell?
No.
No.
Tadao. Why does that sound familiar?
I know a fool named Tadao. He's busted?
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
I'm assuming.
He's definitely busting through stuff.
Yep. That's what I'm about to say.
He's busting through, Jesse. Huh? He's busting through stuff.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's a chirujo.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he's a.
Oh, okay.
He's definitely taking by force. That's all we'll say.
Yeah.
He is Hey, this thing's gonna hang up right now. I'll give you a call back. And you got another call?
Yeah, for sure. Hey, but you know what? Let me ask you, because we got about 20 seconds, because I want you to think about this answer.
Yes.
So,
all right.
When you join your gang, because people say you know what you signed up for. When you signed up, and you joined your gang, did you know all this other stuff that was going to come down the line, 10, 15, 20, 30 years down the line?
Hell no. But there was a time where I just signed myself up, and I knew better. I'll tell you about that in a minute.
All right, cool. For sure. We'll be waiting.
Yep.
All right. So we currently got Jesse Nava and David Lopez. They're located in Centinela State Prison. If you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free 99. And don't forget, sharing is caring. Shoot that link to somebody. Hey, thank you, King Ese. Gato Michoacano. Hell yeah. Let me see. You got to get one of these right here. Thank you. And hopefully I didn't wake anybody up. Hopefully your abuelita wasn't sleeping because she might be mad. Here they are. The phone is ringing and let's patch him through.
This call is now being
Global
recorded.
Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
James.
David.
Yep.
Yep.
So the difference between Jesse and I, because he'll get into his right now.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't really know. I was going with the flow, you know. Like all I seen was positive. I know we were doing like vandalism and things like that, but I wasn't around dudes getting smoked and stuff like that. Not when I was younger. It was happening in the neighborhood and things, but I always looked at it like, well, it's that group of people, it's those people. You hear stories here and there, you know, this fool got it like that, but I never seen anything like that when I was young. And then I grew up in the era of when gangster rap really, you know, came on the set, you know. So we had like Dre and Snoop, and we had all them dudes running around, and you know, it was just different, you know. It was there was a wealth, and there was like fools that were dressing cool, and I liked the way it looked. I like wearing Dickies. I like having Pendletons on. Like I just liked it. I liked the way it looked. I like baggy clothes, cool ass shoes. You know, my mom wouldn't let me shave my head, but I mean, shit, I would have loved to shave my head. But they let me cut my hair a little lower, you know? Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you guys, Ben Davis or Frisco Benz?
I wore both. I was more Frisco Benz, though.
Frisco Benz, yeah.
Yeah, well, Ben Davis, I only wore the shirt. Jesse stepped away for a second, but I only wore the Ben Davis here and there.
Yeah.
I will wear it. Huh?
That was Norteño clothes.
Oh, what? Yeah, over there where I grew up, like SUV.
Yeah.
There was like everybody wore like Solos and Frisco Benz. Yeah.
You know what? It is true what Jesse said, because Ben Davis is manufactured in San Francisco or somewhere up north, I believe. I want to say San Francisco.
He said Ben Davis was manufactured in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So I told him Ben Davis
Yep.
was Norteño clothes originally.
I loved it.
No, when they started doing shorts and shit,
Yeah.
I started rocking with them, but the Ben Davis was Norteño clothes.
I didn't know shit. I was still walking around with a red rag on me. I didn't know that. Like, when I was younger, I didn't want to paño. You know, the folks would be looking at me like, "Hey, who?" Like, yeah. Are you? You were like, so you flamed up? I'm like, what do you mean? Am I gay? I'm straight. You know, I'm straight.
I'm only a flamer on Sundays after church.
Yeah. No disrespect to any gay people listening. We're just talking shit. But no, and so the thing is, so they would ask me that, you know, when that term flamed up too, that's what you would hear like when people that will wear a lot of red from up north, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They would
Well,
be.
you'll notice. Remember the Ben Davis tag had the little red.
I seen it. I remember. I'm looking at the little face of the little monkey, huh?
Monkey face.
Yep, and it has a little. I remember the little red right there.
Like around mid, like probably about like 97, 96, somewhere around there. It like more and more fools were wearing it down here. You would see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like their shirts kind of got a little bigger, but I only used to rock the shorts. I never cared for Ben Davis, not because it was Norteño clothes, but just because I just wasn't a big fan of them until they came out with their shorts. My daughter's mom bought me a few pairs of the little Ben Davis shorts, and I was like, okay, I can rock that.
Yeah, but so when I came into the juvenile system, I started to see like kind of what it was, but I still wasn't all in. I was just going with the flow still, like get in trouble. I wasn't thinking ahead. When I came into prison and I started putting in work in the system, I didn't have any direction. Like I was just you know, running amok in the system. But there was a time where I was asked to make a choice. You can do this or you can do that.
Are you down for La Honda or not?
Yeah, straight up. Something just like that. And without hesitation, I signed up for it and I knew what it was. I was like, hell yeah, I'll roll with that. I've already been doing this. It's making it official. Let's do this.
Put me in, coach.
Yep.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah.
So for me though, James, I think you've asked me this question before. I think we've talked about it.
Yeah.
And I think initially, you know, when I initially joined the gang, you know, I don't think I gave much thought. Like Dave said, it was a means to an end. You know, I found a place where I belonged. I felt accepted. You know, it was a vehicle to you know, exhibit my dysfunctional behavior where it was utilized, you know, as a tool and a weapon, you know, versus being seen as an outcast like it did in other communities, you know. And so for me, I wasn't even thinking about it as far as like what was to come. But I can honestly say, shortly after joining my gang, I knew exactly what was going to come with it, and I absolutely signed up for that. You know what I mean? Like I was telling Dave, like I knew that I would do life in prison. I knew that I would either end up dead or in prison behind the gang, with the gang, and the lifestyle that I was living, just based on that everybody, my street gang started in like 85, 84, 85. So it was a relatively new gang when I got into it in 92 anyways. You know what I mean? But the generation before my generation, all them guys went to California Youth Authority, and they all went to prison. By the time they were going to prison, all my generation, the first group of my generation was already going to YA in the early 90s. Like by like 94, 93, 92, all those guys. You know what I mean? Like our first generation went in like 88, 87, 88, 89, and then the next generation, a group of people left in like 91, 92, 93. Then you had my the group that I went with, which was like 94, 95, 96, those, you know, like 97. That little group, because most of the guys that I ran around with, that almost everybody from my barrio ended up in YA. When we were in YA and TS, we were all there. Everybody we grew up with, like, that was actually like a part of our immediate crowd.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
So I knew from an early age, because I also knew that violence is what got you notoriety. I also knew acting crazy is what looked good in the streets. You know what I mean? So in my mind, it was like, okay, well, I could be crazier than anybody else. You know, so I'm going to do whatever I got to do. And I knew at the end of that, there was going to be consequences. You know, when you carrying a gun at such an early age and you shooting people at such an early age, shooting at people and just acting crazy, like, you know that there's going to be consequences, you know. And I couldn't wrap my head around the extent of what things were going to be necessary when I got to prison and all that stuff, you know what I mean? Because that's all that stuff is things you learn later on. But I definitely knew that there was going to be a lot of chaos, and I thought so little of myself back then that the way I equate it is like, we look at these terrorists, you know, these Muslims, and you know, the Muslims out there, and that they're willing to, they're martyrs as far as they're concerned. You know, they're jihadists. And that's the same ideology that a lot of gang members have. That's the same ideology that I had. Like, well, shoot, if I do life for the hood, then it's a notch.
But not all Muslims.
No, the jihadists.
Just the jihadists, you know.
Yeah, the radicals.
Yeah, and that's what it is. There's people that just take things to the next level. There's guys that are actual, you know, culturally, they like the look, they like the culture, the Chicano culture, the Raza culture, and, you know, they like that. They get their cars and they get their big old rochas like James. You know, even looking at James. James got some look, right? Culturally, he's got the big rocha, he's got the, you know, shaved head, got the CDCR jacket, but he's not out there.
Trippin' James, where you from, man?
He's not out there putting in highlights. James ain't doing that, you know.
Hey, these are standard issued in LA.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like, look, we turn it into something else. We choose to take it to the extreme. Yeah.
But the way that you do that is because you care so little about yourself that you value human life less than you value being accepted or creating this image for yourself or creating these masks that, you know what I mean, you're gonna you know, I was gonna shape them at all costs, no matter what it costed me or anybody else. You know, it was you know, looking back at it now, it's embarrassing, you know, like to think, because especially now, like, we pride ourselves in being intellects, we pride ourselves, and even when I was in that stuff, I felt like I was smarter than a lot of the people around me. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the truth about it. You know, that I'm like, well, that's why I was doing the most, and that's why this and that. You know what I mean? But I look at it and it's like, damn, I was just as reckless, if not more reckless, than most of those around me. You know, it was just pure ignorance. You know, and it's an embarrassment when I look back at it. Like, damn, you know, like just to think, like, here I was literally walking around with my head in the clouds.
Yep.
You know.
Now seeing everybody around you that were hurting, you know.
Yep. Exactly. And it's crazy because everybody I know, like I said, you know, I signed up for it. I knew what it was. Everybody I know is doing the same thing. Like, I can't even think of, man, let me see. I can't even think of 5 people that I grew up with that were from my barrio that isn't doing anything other than what I'm doing right now. Like, they may not be doing life, most of them are, but they may not be doing life, but going in and out of prison still,
yep.
Not doing anything. They may get out there and get a little job for a little bit, and then boom, they're back. You know what I mean? Like, I look back at it, and it's like there was nothing. You know, they might hustle for a while, might get some nice things, and then boom, they're right back busted.
Gone with nothing.
Yep, nothing to show for it, nothing. You know, and it's crazy. You know, when you look at it, you know. And we came in here with that same kind of destruction, too, while living in prison. You know, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to live for the here and now. I'll worry about tomorrow when tomorrow gets here. You know? But what about you, James? Did you know when you started scribing out there that what was going to come with it? You was going to be sitting in the county jail?
Hell nah, man. You know what? Funny enough, so what pretty much is just ended my graffiti days was you know, a Proposition 21, because prior to that,
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
prior to that, it was a slap in the wrist. You know, you would hit county, they'll give you 5-10 days or maybe 30 at the most. But once Proposition 21 came, is where they made, you know, vandalism a felony, you know, more than $400. And that was pretty much like the game changer, what ended up, you know, putting my graffiti career to an end. If it would have not been for Proposition 21, I still would have been pushing. The only thing that stopped me was that I ended up catching some felony charges. I caught like 10 felony cases, and they were talking about prison, and I was like, man, I'm not cut out for prison, like for graffiti, man. The fool's already tripping in county talking about, you know, Tigers got green light, and then, you know, I didn't want to go upstate, you know, listening to that nonsense. So pretty much that was it. You know, I was in a crossroad, or there was a fork in the road, and I decided, I was like, man, I'm not gonna go to prison over graffiti. Just no way. I wasn't gonna do it. So that's pretty much, you know, that's when I ended up straightening out my life. I was like, I'd rather be on the streets doing nothing than, you know, being in prison doing nothing. So or I'd rather be on the streets making peanuts than being in prison making peanuts. So that pretty much was you know, when I decided that I wasn't going to continue anymore. I was going to, you know, hang it up.
He put all the caps back on his markers. Took the tips off the spray cans.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. Grabbed his harness and put it in the trunk.
Yeah, but the thing about it is James had enough sense, though. He wasn't lost in the sauce in the sense. He might have been, like you say, he's one of them guys that may have adapted to culture, but the rottenness wasn't entrenched in him.
No.
Nah.
Because that's the difference with you, James. Like, you had enough consequential thinking sense to say, okay, you know what? I got shit in one hand and feathers in the others. I'm not going to keep eating this shit. I'm not going to keep laying in this shit. That's the difference between people like us who were so entrenched and so lost in the sauce that it's like, you know what? Coming to prison was a rite of passage. You know, going down with the homies was a rite of passage. You know, being able to put in work, you know, and you at least had that sense, you know, which is what we possess today, consequential thinking. You know, like, of course, wouldn't it be great to have a cell phone in prison? Wouldn't it be great to just not have to care about anything? Of course, but we have enough sense with consequential thinking to think, like, for what? That's a temporary fix.
Yeah.
When I could just get out of prison and I don't have to worry about having a cell phone.
Buy all the damn cell phones you want.
Yeah, you can have all the cell phones you want. I can live my life productively out there. Like, that's a Band-Aid for a you know, a cut, you know, so not a scratch, but a laceration, you know, and so you had that consequential thinking, and a lot of us didn't possess that. You know, I didn't possess that. For me, it was like I couldn't see past my nose when it came to consequence because I really did not care what the consequence was. I knew one thing.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
But like Dave said earlier, oh, I'm going home. I'm just going home. You know, going back to juvenile hall was like, oh,
Yeah.
I know so and so's there. I know so and so's there. And my mom actually preferred that I be there because she knew I was safe and she knew where I was at.
My mom told me the same thing before. At least if you're in prison, I know you're safe.
Yep, I know you're eating. I know you're sleeping, and I know you're not hurting
You're
anybody.
with all your freaking homies anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
I know you're all right. You know.
Yep.
So
Got, another call, James?
yeah. So right now, when you guys call back, I want to share something with you guys. You know, about like, you know, me growing up, you know, where I grew up, because, you know, when you grew up in these areas, you obviously, you got to know, you know, some people. So I want to share like the observation I made at that time. You know, that what set me you know, set me apart from the other people that were there.
All right. Yep.
All right.
Give you a call back.
All right, for sure. All right. Hey, what's up? How's it going, Desert Queen? So right now, when they call back, I'll go ahead and let them know that that you said hi, and I finally, you know, I was able to speak to your friend Jeanette, and we did our first interview yesterday. So, you know, shout out and highly appreciate it for you know, helping out with that. And then let me see right here. Let me see here. King Ese Gato Michoacano, gracias for the likes, highly appreciate it. And they're free 99. All right, and they're calling back.
This call is now being
Esta es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Yes.
All right, so we got Desert Queen, or better known as Thumper in here. She writes, tell Desi and
Thumper.
David, I said hi.
Hey, what's up?
You what?
Not pepper spray, bro.
So
You work better than me.
so Trip. So you know, growing up, you know, obviously, you know, I grew up in a messed up environment, but I didn't have like those same thoughts and or I didn't have that propensity of violence that you guys had. But you know, some people around me did have that, and that they did carry themselves, you know, in that fashion. But you know, growing up in those areas, you know, we would be either part of tagging crews, party crews, and you would come in contact with a lot of other people. You know, there would be circles within those crews, or within those crews that would bring you in contact with other people. You know, some people were gangbanging, some people were, you know, were doing dope, dudes were doing robberies. So in the circles, you found the people that you could relate to the most. So I had a lot of homies, you know, they were doing robberies and hurting people and violence, but you know, I would stay away from that shit because I was like, man, like these fools, they do something crazy, you know, then, you know, I'll probably end up getting, you know, washed up, you know, either going to YA or going to prison over it. So I was always cautious on, you know, the people that I would hang around with or who I would give rise to, because you just never knew. And then there was those people that knew what was going to come with it, that weren't built for that life, that got themselves involved and ended up getting washed up, you know, for hanging around with those individuals. You know, even at that young age, I knew that.
Hold on, I got busted.
I didn't want nothing to do with that. Yep. But yeah, you know, I you know, there was friends that would, you know, get high all the time, and then I had like maybe a core friends of a group of friends that maybe like 5 or 6 that didn't want to indulge in any of that stuff, robberies, hurting people, or getting involved in drugs. You know, they just wanted to hang out and not be victims, and be able to survive in that environment.
No, it's crazy how it all works, you know. You get dudes that weren't really like about that, you know, but they ended up getting caught up for a hot one or something like that. And down. We see them in here.
Well, the truth about it is a lot of guys weren't about that when they started. I don't know them. A lot of us weren't.
Yeah. I wasn't.
Yeah, you're not about that until you become desensitized to it. You know, like that's what I'm telling you. Like you get blinded by this need for acceptance or these insecurities that you're just like, you know what, I don't care, I don't want to look weak, I don't want to be rejected, I don't want to be, that it starts to distort your perspective on things.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I've had friends, like dudes that we're going to get jumped in and all that stuff hanging out with us, and they get to a point where it's like, hey, fool, this ain't cool. Hey, this ain't right.
Yeah.
What's up? You acting like a fan or what? You want to act like a fan or what? Hey, fool, fool, before you get socked up. And I would be like that, or the homies would be like that with me when I first come around. Like, well, you're not down to do a beer run? 12 years old, like, well, you're not down, get on this fool. Like, are you and the homie going to go in the backyard and get down? Like, so it starts, you get all these things going on around you that the fear of rejection, it supersedes any consequential thinking. Like at some point I had to have been like, it was a part of me for so long. I can't actually think back to when was there a time that I was like, oh, this is wrong. I can't do this. This isn't wrong. You know what I mean? Like I can't even think of a time that it was like that because I've been so dysfunctional for so long that I can't. But I know that there was a point. At some point, every kid had some innocence. But I know a bunch of kids. I was even in YA with kids that went into YA on some knick-knack stuff. I'm talking about probation violations, program failure, baloney boost and shit.
Yeah.
And they come out of YA thugging. I'm talking about like, because they had no choice. Survival kicked in first. And so that's the thing that you talking about, James, stuff like that. Like I know a lot of guys who came around and they weren't tough guys. They weren't aggressive. They weren't violent. But it just became them, like they started seeing a bunch of things. And again, like for me, I was already, because I was a violent child, I was a violent child because I was emotionally unstable, and I was given to fits of rage. I was given to a lot of anger. Like I was a lot worse when I was a kid than I was actually getting older. Once I learned to understand that my aggression and my anger and stuff like that was dysfunctional and like embarrassing actually, because I used to like literally cat out. I would flip out and it was something that was because I was so emotionally messed up from early childhood. My earliest developmental years, I never learned how to communicate. So it's like as soon as my feelings got hurt, or as soon as I was disappointed, as soon as anything, I would fly into anger, and so hurting people was normal at an early age when I was a kid. Not hurting, but like fighting and just attacking people, attacking teachers, attacking grown-ups. Like I had no filter for that. But when I got into my teenage years, it was like, okay, now I can just fight as a tool. It doesn't have to be a weapon. It's not just, like I'm not going to be catting out because somebody made me mad. Like now I'm fighting because I have a purpose. Things like that. And it, again, the violence just progresses. But I know a lot of kids who came around me that would hang out with us and stuff like that were just like regular old kids, like, softies kind of, and before you know it, it's like, damn, this fool turned out to be a monster. Couldn't fight a lick. Every time we go out there and fight with the gloves, throw on the gloves or get into it, get his ass whooped every time. And then before you know it, within 2-3 years, the fool's like literally the one you got to put on a leash every time you go somewhere.
You know what? Right now, how you mentioned that dudes were going to YA over like knick-knack crimes, it was funny because I recall, the staff members talking about that, and they used to always tell us, you guys that come, from LA County, you guys are fortunate because the camp system in LA County was huge. I want to say they easily had over 20 camps, and they would tell us like in Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino, their camp system was a lot smaller. So people were going to YA over they would catch a GTA, they would put them on probation, and then they would, if they would violate that probation, they would send them up to YA. And I remember that, and right now when you mentioned that, it struck that memory, that staff member bringing that up.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've been in reception with in YA, SRCC. Like, I'll see cats there and be like, damn, what the hell is this fool doing here? You know what I mean? Like, or be in security in juvenile hall and be like, hey, fool, like, what are you doing in BR? What are you doing in security? Like, I'm going to YA. Like, literally crushed. Like, you're going to YA? What? Like, man, I've only seen you in the halls twice. Or I've only, like, what are you going to YA for? What'd you do? You shoot somebody? Nah, they violated, they program failure. This and that, I couldn't stay in placement. My mom didn't want to take me, just like, and they're off to YA, and I'll run into them in YA a few years later, and them thugging. You know what I mean? It's like then they get out of YA, and now all of a sudden they're gang members and some more stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Putting in holler and everything.
Yep. Wilding out. Because you know why? You ain't got no option. It's you either rank or roll. You know what I mean? Like if you don't, if you can't fight, it's gonna be bad for you. I mean, not necessarily you can't fight. A bunch of dudes couldn't fight, and I know a bunch of dudes, but they would fight. And as long as you fight, that's really all that matters. You know what I mean? Eventually, you're gonna learn how to fight. You can't keep taking ass whoopings. I used to tell homies to be like, "Well, at least I'm fighting." I used to be like, "Fool, that's loser talk."
Yep.
You keep saying that shit, like, come on, man. You mean at least I'm fighting? At some point in time, you gotta take a dub. You know what I mean? You gotta take a W.
Yeah.
You can't just be going in there and taking the mails. That's that loser talk. But yeah, it was definitely an experience though, you know. But I look back at it now and it's just like, damn, you know, like I'm anxious to get out there and see exactly what it is they're doing with the juvenile justice system, because I can tell you for sure that prison is full of people that were.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
You know, prison is full of kids, you know, even at 40, 50 years old, who are still kids, you know, that were bred by the juvenile justice system, you know. So I am kind of anxious to see, like, what it is they're doing now that they expect to make that much of a difference, you know, because there is a lot of things that I do believe can make a difference, but you have to concentrate to help. You know, it has to be concentrated. It can't just be salt and peppered, and I just don't know how that's going to work with the social issues that are so big and so deep and entrenched in our communities. Like, how can they really make a difference, you know? So, and I personally believe that I can make a difference, and I have a business model, and I have friends that believe the same thing, but I just want to see what they're doing, you know, and I'm sure other people, you know, they got science, they had enough science to prove that, to substantiate closing down the California Youth Authority. So hopefully whatever they're doing is working, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, think about Jesse and I were both products of the juvenile justice system. I went to prison at 18. I turned 18 and I didn't learn shit, man, and that was it. I was gone. But trip out on that, man, I feel bad for them kids, man. Like my nephew, he's a good kid. He's not involved with like gang stuff or nothing like that, you know, but he's messing up in school and shit like that, you know, and I think like, well, fuck, what do I tell him? That's real world right there. I give them advice, but I mean, if they don't listen, they don't listen. It's just, you know, it's kind of like, fuck, you know, do you just kind of let things just play out as they are? Or, you know, what's direct intervention look like?
It has to be consistent. There's nothing you're going to say to any child, any teenager, any preteen. You're not going to say anything to them that's going to make a difference. The only way is it has to be concentrated and it has to be consistent. That's the only thing that's going to, because the kids don't have the emotional intelligence to truly understand or process anything that we may have to say to them that would be, you know, of any true value. It has to be a consistent pattern to show them, okay, you know, and a lot of them kids, as you know, and we both know, the reason why we were, you know, the gangs were prime pickings for us is because the gang and that dysfunction was consistent. Nothing else in our life was consistent.
Yep.
You know? So
it was consistent chaos.
Exactly.
Hey, let me ask you guys something. I want to bring you back, guys, to the dude that escaped from Delano. Do you guys feel like the CDCR has loosened like the way that they handle inmates, like as far as like handcuffing them and being a little bit more lax? If that makes any sense.
Not in court. No. Whoever did that, they were fucking up. 100%. That was a mistake. Like CDCR, like as far as they are in here, Jesse and I have both been through security units, the SHU, different ADSEGs, you know, like we've been through all that shit. And them fools, like, they make mistakes.
Yeah.
They make mistakes, and guess what? During those times, when we're in that lifestyle, we capitalize on every mistake they make.
Yep.
And
we pick up the patterns. And we see even the smallest thing that they may not recognize as a mistake, you know, and it normally wouldn't be a mistake. But
if that fool went to court once, and he saw that the person that took him, because usually the same people, if he saw that they were like, maybe they put dudes on him that were probably smaller than him, or that they looked just weak, you know, because just because a person has a uniform on doesn't mean that they're fucking He-Man. They're still human beings. They make mistakes. And so that fool saw something in their pattern that he capitalized on, and he did what he did. But it's not about. That's supposed to be the most secure when you're out of CDCR.
Yep.
That's when you're out of here going to court for something. They're supposed to treat you like you're fucking the fugitive.
Yep.
Harrison Ford, shackles, chains, no doors open with you out in public. Like if you go into one place, like one door will open, they'll pull in, that'll close, and the other one will open. You know what I'm saying? They don't just do that. Somebody fucked
I
up.
just to court here a few years ago, and it was still the same way.
Yeah, somebody fucked up. Somebody got loose. They, for some reason or another, they underestimated that dude, and that's what happens. You can't underestimate people in prison.
What did he do? He overpowered the guy, right?
I don't think so. So from the reports I've seen, he just kind of I guess he had already taken off his handcuffs by the time they opened up the van, and he just pushed through and he either jumped over that little brick wall with that
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
with that fence, and he was gone. But you know what? That location, it shouldn't be like that. It should be enclosed. It shouldn't be open.
That's how you learn.
Mm-hmm.
You learn the hard way.
Well, guarantee that they're gonna end up setting up something.
But even you got another call?
Yeah, for sure.
All
right. So we were just talking about the escape that happened up in Delano at court. It's been all over the news for the last few days. That's interesting. It's interesting. I think if I was incarcerated, that would probably be like the thing that I'll be thinking about every day, especially on a life sentence. I'll be trying to get out. They send me back to court, and I could make myself a handcuff key. I'm out. Rato, you see, you wouldn't want to be you, and hopefully the cop that was in duty, hopefully he's not gonna lose his job over it. And there it is. We got the other call coming in, and let's go ahead and connect it.
Esta es Global
This call
Telling.
is now being
Usted tiene
recorded.
una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Yeah. So that fool had a key on him. That fool had a key on him for sure, a handcuff key.
And those you could make, right? Because you don't need.
Well, he made it. Yeah.
He could have easily gotten a handcuff key. That's easy.
Yeah.
But the thing is how, and yes, you could make it because you can pick the cuffs. But the thing is, find out if he had a black box on. Because if they didn't have a black box on him, because that's rule number 1 going out to court is you have to have a black box on. And if he didn't have a black box on, then that was definitely a lapse on their part because I don't see, because having a handcuff key is irrelevant. If you got a black box on, it don't even matter because you can't even access the keys to the cuff. You know what I mean? Like he would have had to get out of the lock to open the box in order to get to the handcuffs. So to get those keys, to get the handcuffs off, to me, it's like the only thing I could see is maybe he had waist chains on with no box. But I've never, ever seen anybody leave an institution without black boxes.
Well, you know, so from the videos, because there's videos, or at least there's been a few videos that been released. I saw one video where I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the car, the Teslas, they record, like if there's movement around them, it'll record. So somebody released a video of the dude running through that parking lot and the cop chasing him, and then somebody else was recording with their cell phone where he was running like through a field or a park. And the cop is chasing him, but that cop couldn't keep up with him. He's already, he was one too many donuts. He wasn't in shape, so he raised. I'm not sure if he raised if it was a GUN or if it was a taser, but he wasn't able to stop him. He raised it up. The dude turned around, looked at him, and he was gone once he hit that parking lot.
Yeah.
But he had no chains on, no cuffs, no nothing, no shackles, no nothing.
Nah, on the video, he was completely out of that. He didn't have anything. And then I was they interviewed somebody that was there or that worked next to that courthouse, and it was a young lady. She had mentioned that she had done, I think she had done like 12 years in Chowchilla, and she was like, you know what, like, you know, I've been in prison, and the way they transported that guy, they were definitely breaking some protocols, because she was saying that normally there's like a double door on those transport vans. They open up like that main one, but then inside that there's another cage one, so they're supposed to look before they open it up to make sure you're still in the leg restraints and the waist chains and your handcuffs. So
Right.
Is there two people escorting him?
yeah,
Usually they go in pairs, no?
there was two people, but I think what happened was the dude, the driver hadn't got out. It was only the passenger. He had gone up to the back to open it up, and that's when that dude struck.
Was it a regular van that he transported in?
From the vans that I saw on from the news clipping, it was like one of those regular vans. Yeah, it wasn't the ones. It wasn't the ones like that you guys, when you guys get released. It wasn't one of those. It was like the regular, you know, the Coyote vans.
Yeah, little Econoline van or something.
Yeah.
Well, because they have that little cage in the back, though, you know, so he's probably in that little cage in the back, and that's just open door, you know.
Yeah.
There's no way to put a double thing right there. But now that fool came out of his cuffs. He came out of his cuffs with a key. I already had that shit planned, bumped out. He probably had somebody waiting for him with a phone, or that, you know, that had a cell phone when he was in prison.
Yeah.
He probably already had a phone there. Probably fucking made a call, had someone pick him up. They knew what it was. He's like, look, I'm doing this shit today. I'm coming out. Like, be there.
Oh, you know what?
That's what it is.
Another thing was that he had thermals under his clothes, so you could see the thermals under. He had the orange jumpsuit. He's running, and he had his thermals on, and they also pointed that out. That young lady that had been in prison, she mentioned that normally when you go you know, when you go out to court, you're not allowed to have any like thermals on. And also he had his shoes from that he purchased from Canteen.
Oh yeah, they were sleeping. They were sleeping because you don't when you leave the prison, you don't leave with nothing. Nothing personal goes with you except for your boxers. And even then, they swap they'll give you a fresh pair and throw your boxers in the bag with you.
Yep.
Like you don't take nothing. You take an orange jumpsuit. They give you some either some chanclas or some little steak chucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you that's crazy. I don't know what they were doing there.
But after 4 days, that fool's gone.
Shit, I think he was gone the first day.
I mean, he's better off just. Yeah, but the thing is, even in Mexico, like, there's nowhere to really run over there. They'll go get you right there just as quick as they will anywhere else.
It don't even matter going to Mexico.
Yeah, they'll go get you quick.
Yeah.
You know what?
I don't know what.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I think they recently made some
Probably
changes.
right there in Maywood. He's in the Paragon.
They
Right there in the Paragon in Maywood.
I think they made some changes as far as entering in Mexico now from the U.S. I think now they stop you or they're checking who's coming in. It's not like how it was before that you could just, you know, you go in through that gate and you would be in.
It was after 60 seconds?
No. You know what? I've been getting those are some sound effects I get through TikTok. If you like that little noise, and we still got about 9 more minutes.
Yeah, what the hell did we just call?
Yeah.
Hey, I think I'm getting that shit. James.
Probably.
You got that stuff, James. We're gonna have to put them on quarantine.
Nah, because these fools were sick when I got back.
They got COVID on the yard right now.
Again?
Yep, these fools were sick, and
Yep,
it's here. And
full blown
but there's also bronchitis on the yard.
bronchitis.
Yeah, because Troy said he had bronchitis, and a few other fools that got tested, he didn't have COVID. He got tested.
Anybody but Troy can buy it.
Yeah, Troy, you can't believe a word Troy says. So, yeah, a bunch of people tested positive for COVID.
Oh, that's all
It's
bad.
blood. But the thing is, so I came back from my family visit on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I came back on Wednesday. Went to school Wednesday night. Then a bunch of dudes who were in my a bunch of dudes were in my class sick as fuck.
Bird flu, swine flu,
And now today
Zika virus.
I was we had a basketball league. We had a basketball league game. I got the hiccups, man. This shit sucks.
Whoa.
I think I can keep talking. So we had a basketball game right there for the league, and I was tripping because my whole chest was burning. I was like, damn, why the fuck's my chest burning?
Yeah.
But now, I got like a little cough, and the hiccups are unrelated.
The hiccups is extra.
Yeah, I'm all messed up right now, James.
You might want to finish these chips, Dougie, because if
Hey.
it's longer, I'm dusting them.
Hey, Thumper put, he said the swine flu.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, that's what we got. We got swine flu.
That's
Oh, I don't know. Is that even a thing?
Swine flu, absolutely. That's the real deal Holyfield.
Man, Thumper, we need to verify this shit.
Yep. Thumps, let them know, Thumps.
I don't know.
Fools out here get breaking out with that swine flu, walking around here like.
Isn't it avian flu?
Huh? Who?
Avian flu? Swine?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's a thing, Jesse.
Swine flu is a real deal, Dougie.
I like how that sounds, the
James?
swine flu. I'll take the swine flu over the avian flu. I don't know about the avian.
Yeah, Dave got real technical with us right now. He must be pursuing his doctorate.
I just need to know if swine flu is a thing. Like, is it something that passes through like a flu that pays yet? Little piglets?
Let
I'm thinking.
let me look it up.
And they just,
Yeah, check out the swine flu.
and they
We need
freaking,
verification.
they sneeze a lot, but when they sneeze, how do you think they sound? What?
So let me see. So swine flu, also known as the swine influenza, is a respiratory disease in pigs caused by type A influenza virus. While it usually doesn't affect humans, it can happen in people who come into contact with sick pigs. Hey, you guys are definitely in danger,
Yeah, we're definitely
if you will.
We're definitely surrounded by some sick pigs.
Shots fired.
That's for sure. Shots fired.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm thinking one of them guys might have been sick who let that guy get away.
Hey, let me ask you: Do you guys think? Do you think that guy that those because it's gonna be both of them? It's gonna fall on both of them. Do you think? Do you think they're gonna get a promotion?
Who, the cops?
Yeah.
Those cops are going to be freaking serving ice cream at KP up in the front of the prison. They're not going to be. They're not going to be working there. They're in trouble. Those guys are in trouble. Promotion. They're going to get. That's going to be bad for them. It's not going to look good for them on their on their annual. Yeah. They might end up. Yeah, they're probably going to be working a crosswalk or something right there at the courthouse. I don't know. Honestly, it could have happened to anybody. Like, truth be told, it may not have been anything to do with either one of the guys escorting him. This dude had a plan, and obviously he executed it, adequately. You know what I mean? But there was some negligence. Agua, por favor, camarada. There was definitely some negligence somewhere along the line. I don't know, can't say for sure on which side, but nobody's going to be getting any promotion, that's for sure. You know what I mean? Anything. We'll be washing dishes for the rest of the week.
Hey, so
You know what I mean?
we're down to about 4 minutes before this call ends. This is gonna be the last one. I gotta take the wife today. I promised her some chilies, so
Okay.
she's patiently waiting right now.
Yeah, do what you do, man. We appreciate that, man. Thank you for giving us this moment. And anybody that tuned in and listened, it's cool to spend this Saturday night with you guys. And
60 seconds, come on.
Nah, not
wasn't
yet.
60 seconds, but
but
James is on his way to Chili's.
I'm dying over here, so I don't know what the hell just happened.
Dave,
I got that swine flu. That's what it is.
You got that shit.
See, Thumper, it's real.
See?
It's real over here. But nah, it's cool, man. Hey, we appreciate you guys, man. To Gary, everybody that jumped on. Oh, man, I can't even fucking talk right now. This is nuts. But anyway,
man, I don't know about those hiccups.
You know what I mean?
Hey, you gotta scare him, Jesse. When he turns around, he's not paying attention. Just jump out of a closet or something. Up.
Yeah, jump out of the closet. They don't want anybody jumping out of the closet in prison.
Scared me half to death. Yeah, Jeff's gonna jump out of the closet and he's like, "What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? What's up, bitches?
Yeah, with some jazz hands. You're gonna have the jazz hands.
With my spirit fingers on deck.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna be what it is.
Dave's gonna be like,
I'm fucking.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I was fucking dying right now. That shit was funny.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's true. All that shit's real. But yeah. So anyway, though, man. Yeah, it was a pleasure, man, spending this time with you guys. Fish Lair, Lifespan, didn't pop up, but you know,
Yeah.
it's all love.
Yep. Fish Slayer, Iceman, all the regulars. Hey, James, that's what I was going to tell you. I don't know what's up with them hearings you were doing out of state, though. Or I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you when I call you.
Okay.
When we talk to you later.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, they you haven't been able to get any approvals for any of the California hearings, huh?
I haven't.
The Manson chicks are going.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up. You know, I haven't done it, but I'm gonna check when is it they're gonna be going, and I'll send out some emails to check if I could get approved.
There's another one too. There's another hyena that I'm gonna have you check out. I want you to see if you can. Her brother and her killed the stepdad or something like that. She's supposed to be going pretty soon too. I want you to check that one out. See if maybe you might be able to get in on there. See what's going on. I guess her brother actually is now her sister. So I don't know what's going on with that whole dynamic. But
Her brother,
yeah,
now her sister.
yeah. When they got busted, it was a brother and a sister. Now it's a sister and a sister.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
That's the
Yeah.
California model.
He jumped out of a closet.
Yep.
Shit happens.
That's the California model.
Hey, are they in the
Alive and
same
well.
prison now?
Yeah.
No. I don't. What are
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
That's it. That's a wrap right there.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah,
Yep.
and somewhere in between. You know, whoever's in between.
Yep, ladies, gentlemen, and those that are in between that haven't jumped out of the closet yet.
Yep. Well, yeah, we sent a shout out. We'll try to get back to you guys as soon as we can. Thank you for spending this 2 hours with Jesse and I, and Big James with the Jarocha.
Thank
Gracias.
you for everybody else who supports us,
Yep.
who's here with the channel, and everybody
We'll try to send
anybody in our life that's been holding us down.
try to figure out another day to come on when I don't got the hiccups.
All right, for sure.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
so like I
Yeah,
said around
like
here,
Candle in the wind, Lifestyle Box.
life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, we're out. Ah, rato.
Rato. Rato.